Hi, I'm Coach Ashley, founder of Aspire Mindset, and I am a mental performance coach for youth and college athletes. And one of the things that I do with athletes is teach them how to set achievable goals. So when I'm working with an athlete, the first thing that we do is actually understand what are their outcome goals. So what are the results that they're looking to get out of working with me? That can be a performance goal, it can be a mindset goal, it can be both. Usually it is a combination of both, and we don't set more than two, three like max if they really have a goal that they're striving for. And once we identify what those outcome goals are, we then say, well, why? Don't just say, well, I want to run under a 6-minute mile. Why do you want to run under a 6-minute mile? How is it going to make you feel? How is it going to help you, right? So then we can kind of tease out like what is important about this, and that helps to just remind the athletes like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for a reason. There's a purpose to this. And then right after that, we then identify what are the challenges to reaching that goal. So if an athlete's goal is to run under a 6-minute mile, maybe the challenge is, okay, well, in the summer it gets really hot, so I don't have as much motivation to want to go out there or work as hard or whatever it is. And we will then, after we kind of tease out what the challenges are, we will then discuss what the process goals are. And this is what the athlete actually will focus on. These are achievable steps that are so simple and easy to follow that it will help them along the way in achieving that outcome goal. So if we know that the challenge to running the 6-minute mile is the heat and not feeling motivated, then we're going to create a workaround for, okay, well, how can we get you to challenge yourself in running and show that you're progressing and keep you accountable in the heat? So maybe we would say, all right, well, how many days can you realistically say that you can go out and run? And if they say, well, I can do it every day, I usually say, well, let's try to dial that back a little bit. Love the enthusiasm to want to go out every day, but you're already saying you're having a hard time going out right now. So let's make this a little bit more realistic. So we might say, okay, let's pick Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to go out to train. Give me a time that you can set every day that you know, even if it might be a little hard, you know you can keep yourself accountable to. So if they say, okay, I'll wake up at 5:30 and I will be out by 6 a.m. to do my mile training. And we'd say, okay, well, let's try that for this next week. You're going to have your 3 days. But not only are we going to work on just getting there for the 3 days, but we also have to make sure that what you're doing in that time is beneficial towards your goal of a timed run. So you can't just be like, okay, well, I manage the heat part, but I'm not managing the time constraint part. So maybe you're doing a 2-mile tempo run one day. Maybe you're doing intervals the next day. But you have to create something where you're seeing along the way, I feel better. I feel that my, ability to manage a higher pace is getting stronger. The last thing we want to do is not be intentional with the training that we're going to have. So that's how I'd set that up with an athlete. And we would do that for any goal that they have. So we'd say, what do you want to get out of it? So your outcome. What are the challenges to reaching that outcome goal? And then we're going to base those process goals on the challenges. And that kind of system is repeatable. So we always say, in the beginning, when we're working together, is that outcome goal is not something that you should be focused on. You should not be focused on the result. You should be focused on the process to get to the result. Because if we only see the outcome of yeah, that's what I want, and we have no way or actionable or simple way to start making progress towards it, it's always going to feel a lot bigger of a goal and challenge than it really is. So that I always start off with my athletes in understanding those goals, because every single session is some kind of goal setting. We're talking about, okay, well, how did you accomplish your process goals last week? How much closer are you to reaching your outcome goals? Are there any new challenges, or are the existing challenges still causing an issue for you? And then we start to reflect on, okay, how can we make this either more challenging or modify it in the next week so that you continue to grow in that, not just, as an athlete, but grow in understanding how you're going to change your system or continue to adapt so that you're not just staying stagnant. Like you're constantly looking at like, that's my target, that's my goal. How can I continue to shift, pivot, or move forward so I can reach it? So hope this is helpful, especially if you have ever heard your athlete, or if you are an athlete who's constantly like, yeah, I want to achieve that, but it feels a little bit harder to actually realistically sit down and be like, okay, well, what is the process? What does that look like? So hope this helps, and best of luck to everybody.